Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Night 2 of Wrestlemania. So, my final thoughts on Wrestlemania. I thought Wrestlemania was actually, not too bad. I thought it was actually good overall. So, let's dive in. What happened on Night 2? So, Night 2 began. They announced that Randy Orton versus The Fiend was kicking off WrestleMania Night 2. And I was thinking to myself, oh, okay. Well, let's just get this over with early, considering how all week long, or should I say all build, I was going on about how Randy is going to be losing. So, to my surprise, this match turned out to be, as you would expect when it comes to a Fiend match, full of no selling and terrible, terrible bad lighting. They brought back the red lights for the Fiend. Randy was dressed in white. I guess he was feeling like Jesus today. And then Alexa Bliss would come out to the ring. She would have a big jack-in-the-box in the middle of the ring, and she'd spin that jack-in-the-box. And the Fiend appeared out of the jack-in-the-box. But this would all lead to something really weird happening, where Alexa Bliss had goo coming out of her mouth, her hand sticking out like she's the Undertaker. And also it was dripping all over her face as well. The black sludge was also dripping all over her face, which was kind of weird. But the Fiend saw all this go down. He saw all this happen to Alexa. This distracted him. And this led to Randy Orton. To my shock, and I wasn't really paying much of attention. I turned my head when I saw the thing happening to Alexa when all the black stuff was coming out. So I turned my head at that point. I was like, what the hell's happened to Alexa? What the hell's going on with her? And then all of a sudden, this was my reaction to what happened next. Randy Orton would hit the RKO. He would go into the cover. The referee would count 1, 2, and then 3, and this was my reaction. Yep. That was my reaction. I was stunned. I was stunned that I just saw Randy Orton pin the Fiend. 1, 2, 3. And it was technically clean. Like, there wasn't really any bullshit. It was technically clean. There was really no bullshit to it. You can't really say what happened to Alexa wasn't really a clean win. That was straight up clean. A freakish monster that was once considered unbeatable, and there was at the time where the Fiend would take 12 curve stomps from Seth Rollins, and now he falls to one RKO by Randy Orton. So I was definitely shocked that Randy Orton beat the Fiend. I was very certain the Fiend was going to get his revenge on the Viper. Something tells me this isn't over. Something tells me this isn't over. Something tells me they're going to be continuing this long, boring feud. Just end it already. WrestleMania was the perfect time to end it, but knowing this company, it's probably not going to happen. They're probably going to continue this on because they think fans love this feud so much, they want to keep this going until Backlash. Alexa Bliss was sitting on top of the Jack-in-the-Box, kind of similar to how Aleister Black would sit. And she had, again, all that black stuff all over her. Some people's theory is that she's going to be with Aleister Black. Now, I don't know why you would involve Aleister Black, I don't know if Aleister Black will ever come back. I don't know if Aleister Black will ever come back to WWE. So I don't know what would be the whole point of including Aleister Black. Even if he does come back, it just doesn't make sense to include him. But, yeah, that's what I heard someone say. I don't really think that's the case. I think either Randy did something to Alexa to cause this to happen to her, or Alexa surprises everybody and she's now with Randy Orton. Who knows? Who knows? But either way, Randy Orton won, to my surprise. Natalya and Tamina would compete for the women's tag team titles. They would face Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. No Reginald at ringside, which is a bit of a surprise. This was a decent tag team match, but the problem is you got Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler in there, two of the most boring wrestlers on the planet. You got Natalya in there, who's also quite boring in her own way. I mean, Natalya's a good wrestler, but, you know, just character-wise, she's boring. Tamina, I mean, Tamina's okay. You know, there's not, you know, Tamina's, you know, not too bad. You know, Tamina had her best run when she feuded with Sasha and Bayley last year. I was really convinced that Natalya and Tamina were going to win this, considering how their performance went yesterday, but no. Why shouldn't we be surprised? Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax retained. Natalya got a good moment in where she got the sharpshooter on Nia Jax. She turned a 300-pound Nia Jax over into the sharpshooter, but Shayna Baszler would save the match by kneeing Natalya in the head and then putting her in the Karafuda. Natalya didn't tap out though. She passed out to the submission. So Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler are still, unfortunately, still our women's tag team champions. Who the hell beats them? Bit of an unpopular opinion on my behalf here, because I know a lot of people will roll their eyes if they hear me say this. Why not Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch? Why not those two? I mean, that would be a cool moment, to have Becky come back, win the tag team title with her best friend, Charlotte. I know it's not what everybody would want to see, but, you know, something I would like to see. Becky and Charlotte as tag team champions? Hell yeah. At least in my opinion, that's what I would do. Should Billie Kay and Carmella get a title shot? Well, they wouldn't win anyway, so it's not like it would really matter if Billie and Carmella were next in line. But then we moved on to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They had a really good match. Kevin and Sami, they always have great matches together. Kevin Owens would win the match. He would deliver the stunner to Sami Zayn, pinning him down to the 3. Logan Paul got involved. He got in the ring. He pushed Sami Zayn, and you know, he was trying to befriend Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens gave him a stunner at the end of the show. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much, Kevin, for putting down Logan Paul. Now get the hell out of WWE, Logan Paul. Get the hell out of WWE and never come back. Sheamus and Riddle. You know, if there's one thing I will give Riddle, if there's one little tiny bit of praise I'll give Riddle. Is he a good wrestler? Yeah, I think he can be. But if this bum wasn't such a jerk, wasn't such a you-know-what, and he didn't have a terrible gimmick, and he didn't do the things that he did, maybe I'd respect the guy more, but I never really liked him. I've never liked Riddle. Riddle is a decent performer. We had a cool spot where Riddle would do a springboard move and Sheamus would catch him with the bro kick to win the United States Championship. I'm happy. I'm happy with that. Sheamus is the new United States Champion, as he should be. There's no reason for Matt Riddle to continue being champion. Nobody cares about Matt Riddle. Nobody gives a shit about Matt Riddle. Nobody likes Matt Riddle. If you do like Matt Riddle, why the hell do you like Matt Riddle? Matt Riddle is a freaking bum. He is a bumhole. So Sheamus did everybody a favor by beating that bumhole at WrestleMania. Thank you, Sheamus. Then we had Apollo take on Big E for the Intercontinental Championship. Big E had a live performance. This made me worry for Rhea Ripley because she had the same thing. This match was actually pretty decent. This match was actually, well, not decent, it was actually pretty good. For the 6 minutes that it was given, it was actually pretty fun. This feud has been really good. And not a single drum was used, by the way. This was a Nigerian drum fight, and not a single drum was used. They were using kendo sticks and tables and stairs. But in the end, Apollo would go up top, and he was going to frog splash Big E through the table. Big E would move, and Apollo would crash through the table. And as it looks like Big E is going to put away Apollo Crews once and for all, Yabba Dabba Doo guy, Big Dabba Kato, makes an appearance. Yes, the big Yabba Dabba Doo guy that was on Raw Underground. And if you want to know why I call him Yabba Dabba Doo guy, is because a certain YouTuber called him that once, and I found it so funny, I am just using it myself. So, the Yabba Dabba Doo guy helped Apollo Crews become the new United States Intercontinental Champion. Sorry. I'm already sidetracked over Yabba Dabba Doo guy being a part of SmackDown. Well, Mr. Yabba Dabba Doo guy actually has a new name now. His new name is Commander Azzy. A-Z-E-E-Z. Azzy. Commander Azzy. How do I know that? I looked it up. So yeah, Apollo is now the Intercontinental Champion. I'm happy for Apollo, man. What a year it has been for Apollo Crews. He was United States Champion on Raw. Comes over to SmackDown after his US title run, thinking the same thing was going to happen to him. Heel turn. Man, this guy has had a really good... This man has really come around. Once we look... And Apollo Crews was once considered a guy that we didn't care about for the past 5 years when he was on the main roster, because all he was doing was smiling. He had no character. He had no personality. He had charisma, but he had no personality. And look at this. You give the guy a character, and you give the guy personality, and look what happens. You give the guy a character and a personality, and look what happens to this man's career. Why the hell is it so hard just to give a superstar a character and a personality, and there you go. Everything is all offset and running for them. Why is that so difficult? Why is that so damn difficult for some people? Especially for this company. Why is it so damn difficult just to give a wrestler a character and a personality? It's not that hard. And now look at Apollo. Now look at him. He's the Intercontinental Champion. Me and my bad Nigerian accent. After this match, it was the Raw Women's Championship. It was Rhea Ripley challenging Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. Now, I was very nervous heading into this match. I wasn't sure if Rhea Ripley was going to win here, considering she had, a live performance. Something that Big E just had. And I know some of you are probably thinking, well, your words was eaten on your Raw review yesterday, on your WrestleMania review yesterday, because you said Asuka wasn't going to put Rhea Ripley over. No, that's not what I said. I never said she wasn't going to put her over. my reaction at the time when I said that is that I said that Sasha Banks is always the one that's called upon to help create new stars. That's what I said. I felt like at the time before today, I felt like Asuka was in the same category. That she just wasn't going to help create a new star. Because a friend of mine, we kind of talked about it. And he kind of felt like I was onto something when I said this. Because you guys heard me say it in my Night 1 review. I said that WWE doesn't trust Charlotte to create a new star, which is why he calls upon Sasha Banks to do it. Because why would he call upon Sasha Banks to constantly put over new stars when he could have easily had Charlotte Flair do it? To me, it tells me a lot that he doesn't trust Charlotte. He doesn't trust Alexa Bliss to do it either, because Alexa Bliss, who was the last person other than Nia Jax she put over? I don't count Ronda Rousey. As putting over a new star. Because Ronda ain't no star. Charlotte rarely ever does. Now, speaking of Charlotte, there's definitely some big problems here. Well, kind of things that actually kind of worries me. And I love Charlotte, but hear me out on this, and I think a lot of you will agree. Rhea Ripley won the title. It took one riptide. To beat Asuka. And that is something I can appreciate. When you hit a finisher, it should be the end of the match. Now, I've seen some people complain that Asuka is in the same column as Sasha Banks now. Someone that always loses at WrestleMania. Asuka lost to Charlotte at WrestleMania, and I think she was a part of both? Wait. I know she was a part of one of the Battle Royals. Oh, right. She lost to Alexa last year in a tag. Right. My bad. For some reason, I had a brain fart. I was trying to figure out who the hell she lost to. Right. She lost to Bliss Cross in a tag match. Right. I remember now. So, yeah. So, Sasha and Asuka are kind of in the same category now as two of the biggest choke artists at WrestleMania, considering they can't buy a victory. Now, I'm happy with Asuka doing it. I'm more happy with Asuka doing it than Sasha Banks, because Sasha Banks always bloody does it. She does it her entire damn career, helping Vince create new stars. She does it all the damn time. So Asuka helping Vince create a new star in Rhea Ripley, that made me happy. And what also made me happy as an Australian, I finally have a champion that's from Australia. And I wouldn't lie to you if I wouldn't be lying to you if I did get a little emotional for Rhea. I was very happy for her to get her live entrance at WrestleMania. I was so happy to see her at the live stage where she belongs, and seeing her win the title. Finally, an Australian wrestler getting a title. See, this is the type of thing I want to see more of. Situations where I can feel happy. Situations where I can see my hometown country people making me proud. I wouldn't lie to you if I got a little emotional. I was so happy for Rhea. It makes me so happy for Rhea. I really hope she goes on a long run and dominates on Raw. This is where the Charlotte Flair problem comes in. And I know a lot of people will agree with me. You had Bianca and Rhea, both created tonight. Both of these women were made tonight at WrestleMania. And we can all agree Charlotte Flair is going to eventually come back. And she's probably going to challenge one of them for their respective titles, depending on where they end up going, if it is true that we get a superstar shakeup. The big problem here is that if Charlotte comes back and challenges one of them for the titles, it's gonna be scary because, as I said, Vince doesn't trust Charlotte to create a new star. So, it could be a situation And we're all in a lose-lose situation here if Charlotte comes back and challenges for one of those two titles. Because if Charlotte comes back, we gotta hope Vince does the right thing and has Charlotte lose. It's one thing to create a new star. It's one thing to give Rhea and Bianca these big moments. That's one thing. But the one thing that can easily ruin everything you've done with them is have someone like Charlotte come back and take the title from them. That's the one thing that can actually hurt everything you've done for them and everything you did for them. And it also makes Asuka and Sasha, the ones that you made put them over, it will also make them look bad. It will also make them look bad because you took the title from them for no reason. You took the title from them just to pass it on to someone new and just to pass it over to Charlotte. That's my big problem here. That's the big major issue that is going to arise now. This is why I said it would be really cool if you had Charlotte come back with Becky Lynch and challenge for the tag team titles against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Because that way, she can win the tag team titles and you don't have to worry about having her challenge for either the main titles. That's what I feel like needs to happen. So, that's my big major worry. When Charlotte comes back, you know there's going to be a lot of people that is going to be worried. And I love Charlotte. You know me, I love Charlotte. I want Charlotte to put either one of them over, whoever she ends up facing. I really want her to put one of them over. If you're going to bring her back to challenge them, they should really beat Charlotte. Vince McMahon needs to prove that these girls are the future. And how do you show the fans that they're the future? You have them beat Charlotte Flair. A victory over Charlotte Flair would do wonders for their career. It would do wonders for Bianca or Rhea, depending on who Charlotte eventually challenges. It would do wonders for their career. Rhea beat Asuka. You know, great moment for Rhea. Bianca beat Sasha. Great moment for her. So if you're going to bring Charlotte back, she's got to do the same thing. Because otherwise, then everything you've done for them up to this point is going to mean nothing. It's going to mean nothing. And all that that moment that you have them that you created for them, it's just going to be shattered just like that. It's going to be shattered just like that. And all the hard work you had them do is all for nothing. So that's my main worry for Charlotte when she comes back. I don't want Charlotte to get, negative nuclear heat just for destroying two young created stars that you work hard to build. And I felt that way last year as well for Charlotte. She should have put Rhea over. Because I feel like fans would have respected Charlotte a lot more if she did put over some younger stars. So that's my main issue. But regardless, I'm so happy for Rhea. I'm so proud of her. Thank you for making us Australians feel proud, Rhea. I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. Now go on and show the world why you are the brutality and why you are the nightmare of Monday Night Raw. Continue to make me proud. Then we get to our main event, Roman Reigns defending the Universal title against Edge, Daniel Bryan. I was very, very certain and very confident that Edge was going to win. I was certain. I was very certain Edge was winning. And to my surprise, and actually my quite literal happiness actually, and to my happiness, Roman Reigns retained. Roman Reigns retained in a, I'll admit, it wasn't a too bad of a match. I actually didn't mind the match. It was actually pretty good. But overall, I'm happy Roman won. And Edge is, he did make history tonight, but not what he was hoping for. Now, over the years of Royal Rumble winners, most Royal Rumble winners win, and most of them lose. Some back-to-back winners will win back-to-back times at WrestleMania, like Stone Cold and Shawn Michaels. Some of them have lost at WrestleMania, and then some of them have won the Royal Rumble, and then they lose, and then they win the match again, and only to win the second time. John Cena and Edge. John Cena and Randy Orton did that. But your boy Edge, he's won 2 Royal Rumbles. He's gone on to WrestleMania to challenge the champion. And both times he lost. Both times he lost. He won the 2010 Royal Rumble, ultimately lost to Chris Jericho. And he wins the Royal Rumble this year. And he ultimately loses to Roman Reigns. So what was the point in giving Edge the Royal Rumble? What was the point of giving Edge the Royal Rumble if this was supposed to be his comeback story that everybody continued to tell me, oh, this is his comeback story? Well, then Edge's comeback story has meant nothing. Absolutely nothing. All that build-up for his comeback all means for nothing. You gave him the Royal Rumble just as an accolade. And I know why. I'm not stupid. There's one certain wrestler that has won the Royal Rumble at number 1. You know, he's the guy that WWE never ever mentions after what he did. You know who I'm talking about. So, they wanted Edge to come out at number 1 and win the Royal Rumble just so that they can get that guy out of the picture forever. You know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention his name. One other guy won the Royal Rumble at number 1, and WWE absolutely refuses to ever acknowledge him again. So their way on making sure that and WWE's way to make sure that he's never ever mentioned again as another person that came out at number 1, they had Edge win at number 1. So they only gave Edge the Royal Rumble at number 1 just so that they don't have to, so that way they can just get rid of that man that they refuse to mention ever again. It was never about Edge getting his fairy tale moment. It was never about that. So Edge's Royal Rumble win is meaningless. Everything they've done to him, everything they've done with him up to this point is meaningless. And you know what? It's not that I care, but he's not Universal Champion, but something tells me this is far from over. Something tells me that this is a long way from being over. So, Roman Reigns retains, guys. There you go. Those are my thoughts and opinions on WrestleMania Night 2. Hit that thumbs up if you guys did enjoy. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. And I'll see you all tomorrow, finally, for the final night of Wrestling Week for Monday Night Raw. See you then.